Hello, my name is Echo. Welcome back to the Echo Cabin. Go ahead, grab a blanket, pour yourself a drink, something that makes you feel safe inside. And if you're joining us here for the first time, make sure to close the doors to the cabin tight. Because tonight, we're stepping into places where the ordinary unravels, where keepers vanish from lighthouses as if swallowed by the sea, where a family disappears into a desert leaving only their toys behind, and where a man's final words still echo through a 911 call, unanswered in the dark. So settle in, because it's about to get a lot more unusual. It's December 26th, 1900s. You're aboard the relief ship Hesperus, making the slow approach to the Flannan Isles. Cold wind bites your face. The cliffs ahead are jagged, black teeth in the sea. And there, the white tower of the lighthouse, rising from the rock. Normally, by now, the keepers would be waiting, a flag raised, figures standing on the landing to wave you in. But today, nothing. You tie off the ropes, step onto the slick stone landing. The spray from the waves stings your skin. You climb the narrow stair to the lighthouse door. It creaks open. Inside, the air is heavy. On the table, a meat half eaten, bread, cheese, meat, laid out untouched. Beds unmade, as if abandoned in haste. A chair tipped onto its side, and upstairs, the lamp cold and dark. The three men who should be here are gone. The missing keepers were James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur. All experienced, all dependable, all vanished. Investigators noted storm damage at the western landing, railings twisted, turf torn up, ropes scattered. It suggests that the men went out during the violent weather, perhaps to secure equipment. A massive wave could have swept them away, but that explanation leaves questions. Regulations required one man to stay inside at all times. Why would all three leave together? The lamp had been tended to shortly before their disappearance, and no bodies were ever recovered. Rumors spread. Some claimed the logbook mentioned phantom winds or even strange lights. Others whispered of madness or violence between the men, but these were only stories. What we know is this: the lighthouse was stocked, clocks wound, clothing folded away, and three men simply gone. The Flannan Isles Mystery lived on in songs and poems. In 1912, poet Wilfred Wilson Gibson wrote, "Yet as we crowded through the door, we only saw a table spread. For dinner, meat and cheese and bread, but all untouched, and no one there." The sea keeps its secrets, and perhaps these three men are still out there, drowned in its silence. It's October 21st, 1996. You're flying a patrol over Death Valley. The desert below is endless, white, sun-bleached, lifeless. Then you see it. A green minivan, stranded in a dry wash. You land and approach. Its tires are shredded, its paint blistered. Inside, toys, empty soda cans, a brand new sleeping bag still wrapped in plastic. But no people, no footprints, no signs of escape, just silence. The van belonged to four German tourists: Edbert Rimkus, his young son, Georg, Cornelia Meyer, and her boy Max. They had flown in to see California's natural wonders, but instead of sticking to safe routes, they drove deep into the packed country roads, toward ghost towns, old mines, and terrain few travelers dared. When found, the van told its story. They drove until every tire shredded. Still they pressed on, the vehicles scraping bare rims against rock. Then, nothing. The car abandoned and the family with it. Inside was food, shade, shelter, but they chose to walk. Searchers looked for weeks. Helicopters, rangers, volunteers. No bones, no clothing, nothing. It was as if the desert had swallowed them whole. In 2009, 13 years later, hikers stumbled across skeletal remains miles from the van. Nearby lay Cornelia's passport, Egbert's wallet, and fragments of the children's belongings. DNA confirmed some of the bones, but not all. Not everyone was ever found. The accepted theory is brutal. They tried to walk out. The distances were too great, the heat too severe. Only one by one, they collapsed under the desert sun. But questions linger. Why leave supplies behind? Why walk harsher terrain? And why did the desert keep them hidden for over a decade before revealing only fragments? The Mojave is not empty, it's patient, and sometimes it keeps what it takes. It's just after midnight, August 9th, 2013. You're a 911 dispatcher working the graveyard shift. The phone rings. A man's voice cuts through. Panicked, breathless.
9/2013 0:50 and 38 seconds.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The site was just pushing guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. You gotta take the pieces to the woods. Quick burning.
Okay, now run that by
The one I'm talking to, I surely ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
He says his truck run out of gas. He says someone is chasing him. And then his voice sharpens into a plea. Please, hurry.
Quick burning. That's the first guy.
You need an ambulance?
Yes, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
The line goes dead. Deputies traced the call to a highway outside of Bronte, Texas. There they found his truck, keys in the ignition, but no Brandon Lawson. Brandon was 26, a father of 4. He left home after an argument, called his brother for help, and then placed for the 911 call. When the police arrived, he was gone. Searchers combed the fields and brush. Voices called his name. No reply. For years, the case spread across forums and podcasts. 911 audio dissected frame by frame. Was he being chased? Was there something else unknown? Or were there other voices in the background? Or was it confusion? A man lost, wandering in the dark. Then in 2022, nearly a decade later, human remains were discovered near the site. DNA confirmed they were Brandon.
Tonight about the search for Brandon Lawson, the West Texas man who went missing more than a decade ago. Laboratory testing has confirmed the human remains found 2 years ago are in fact his.
But even with the discovery, the mystery remains. How exactly he he died is unknown. An accident, exposure, or something darker lurking off the road that night. All we're left with is his final voice, a desperate plea through the static. Please hurry. A call that came too late. 3 disappearances, 3 landscapes, the sea, the desert, the lonely highway. Each leaves us fragments, a half-eaten meal, a van abandoned with toys, a voice lost in static. But the full truth, that remains hidden. Sometimes the scariest thing is not what we find, it's what we never will. This has been the Echo Cabin. Close the doors tight and don't look outside.